What's up, guys? I'm Chris Spags here, back with another Four Corners video for today's 14-game MLB main slate, courtesy of Awesemo.com. I've got a lot of games to look at, a lot of angles to consider today, but we do have some good news today, in as much as you can win another free month of an Awesemo.com premium membership. So right now, like this video, comment your double dong pick again today. We had our first winner of the free month of Awesemo Plus yesterday, I'll be talking about a little bit later in the video, but you can join him in this Hall of Luminaries, the Hall of Fame of correct double dong picks. Like the video, comment your double dong pick below, and you can win that free month of an Awesemo Plus membership. But onto our first corner, the top pitchers on today's slate, and Jacob deGrom going against Colorado is going to be the first guy to consider today. Gets 3.1 implied runs against him and is expected to be the number one owned pitcher everywhere, with 58% on DraftKings, 33% on FanDuel, and 59% on Yahoo. deGrom has struggled some with 39% hard contact on the year, and Colorado does have power with a 191 ISO, but Colorado's projected lineup brings a 25.5% K rate versus right-hand pitching, while deGrom has missed bats well with a 14.3% swing strike rate and 10.9 Ks per nine. So deGrom at a reasonable price does seem worth the exposure. Again, we've seen many of the struggles with the top-owned pitchers on the slate, so if you want to go elsewhere, even if you want to go to Colorado, I don't hate it, but deGrom, the price is there, the strikeout upside is theoretically there, so if you want to match the field on him or come in a little bit under, I think that's probably the wise move here. Garrett Cole going against Baltimore will also be a top option today with 2.7 implied runs against him, which is a slate low. He's the number 2 expected owned player on all the sites. It'll be slightly behind Jacob deGrom everywhere. Cole is exceedingly high priced due to his 13.4 Ks per nine and his 15.8% swing strike rate on the year, as well as a spot versus a Baltimore projected lineup with a 25.5% K rate versus right-hand pitching. They may not have enough power to take advantage of Cole's 4.5% home run rate this year, so I don't mind going to Cole. It's going to be tough to afford Cole and some of the higher priced bats on the slate, so you may have to make a choice there. I still like Cole. I think he's in a good spot here, and I'm willing to trust him because Baltimore, again, does strike out a lot, and the power doesn't really seem like it should be there versus him today. Brandon Woodruff versus Pittsburgh should also be a popular mid-tier option today. Gets 3.5 implied runs against him, and Woodruff projects for high ownership as an SP2 at a reasonable price. Though Woodruff's 10.5 Ks per nine and 3.6 xFIP are very solid for his price, it's a tough spot versus Pittsburgh with a 16.1% K rate versus right-hand pitching in Pittsburgh's projected lineup. And guys like Josh Bell with lefty power that will benefit from Milwaukee, a park that gives up lefty power. I think Woodruff is at a decent enough play. I like his price given his strikeout upside, but I think the spot for Pittsburgh may be one where you can get leverage on Woodruff given the fact that he's going to be really highly owned today on SP2 sites. Onto our top stacks on the slate, and a Milwaukee stack going against Rookie Davis should be a top owned option today. They get 6 implied runs for them, which is a slate high. Milwaukee's projected lineup brings a 210 ISO, 117 WRC plus, and 4.3% home run rate versus right-hand pitching. Davis might be low-owned interesting leverage with a 12.9% swing strike rate and 9.4 Ks per nine in a very limited MLB sample size, but his 6.1% home run rate thus far can mean big production versus a Milwaukee lineup who can pile up runs. I like Milwaukee as a stack, though I do think the idea of going to Rookie Davis here is a bit interesting. Still not a guy I would trust that much volume, and I think the Milwaukee lineup, if you can afford it because they are really high priced, is one worth having some exposure to as full stacks, as mini stacks, and as one-offs. A Toronto stack versus Merrill Kelly should also be one that pops up a lot in optimizers today. They get 4.6 implied runs for them and low prices for Toronto, and a spot versus Kelly who allows 39% hard contact and a 3.4% home run rate should mean number 2 stack ownership on the day for Toronto. Toronto projects well as value with a lot of home run power with a 194 ISO in their projected lineup and a positive hitting park as well, but the 26% K rate versus right-hand pitching makes them more of a tournament play, I think. I think there's some potential here to go to Kelly as leverage because, again, Toronto does strike out at a pretty decent clip, but they have a ton of home run power, and Kelly hasn't shown enough potential to put good batters away, so I really see the equation either side. I think matching the field on Toronto seems like a fair approach overall. And a Philly stack versus Tyler Mahle should also find some ownership today with 4.7 implied runs for them. Mahle does struggle heavily versus lefties with a 1.8 whip and a 6.6 xFIP that can be problematic going against competent lefty hitters like Cesar Hernandez, Bryce Harper, and Jay Bruce. But Mahle's 3.4 xFIP versus righties could be more of a mini stack or one-off situation. I think Philly's okay to have some of, and I really do like Bryce Harper a lot today, but I think I'm less inclined to go to a full stack here if they're going to be decently owned as it currently looks like everywhere. Onto the lower owned options on today's slate, and Clayton Kershaw going against San Francisco is going to be one of those pitchers today who fits that criteria. He gets 3 implied runs against him, and Kershaw's 8.4 K per nine number isn't the most impressive, but San Francisco does strike out at a 26% rate versus left-hand pitching, and they're in a pitcher's park today. To me, Kershaw's price makes him more of a hope every other high-priced pitcher fails option, more than a play to want a ton of, but that does make him worth some tournament consideration. I think Kershaw's a guy I don't mind having some of because in case Cole falters, if deGrom also fails as chalk, if a guy like Mike Soroka is just overpriced and doesn't get there, I think it's an okay spot to go to Kershaw, but again, not a guy I'm crazy about because the strikeout stuff hasn't been there quite as much for him this year. A Tampa Bay stack versus Rick Porcello also looks interesting today with 4.8 implied runs for them. Their prices remain high, but Tampa Bay has the 3rd highest chance to be the top stack on the night, according to our top stacks tool at Awesemo.com, while they're only projected for 1% aggregate ownership. Porcello's 7.6% swing strike rate and 5.2 xFIP are under the radar as being very, very bad, while Tampa Bay's projected lineup has mashed right-handed pitching with a 199 ISO and a 118 WRC+. Tampa Bay is just a team full of professional hitters. Porcello's been bad on the the year. Going back to last year, honestly. So I think it's a spot here. I don't mind going to Tampa Bay. And the top stacks tool does back him out as being one of the better options to go to at low ownership. Minnesota stack versus Matthew Boyd also looks interesting to me with 4.5 implied runs for them. Boyd's strikeout stuff is legit with 11.2 Ks per 9 and a 13.4% swing strike rate. But low prices for Minnesota along with an elite 203 ISO and 130 WRC plus versus left-hand pitching does make Minnesota very interesting to me. If Minnesota can get to Boyd, Detroit's bullpen is also bad with a 5.1 xFIP and a 4.6% home run rate allowed. So in a decent hitting park, Minnesota could be underappreciated today. You're not paying big prices for them even though they have been hitting really well. I think it's a good spot to go to Minnesota with not a ton of ownership on them today. Now here's my dirty little secret today, the one I'm most ashamed about putting in this video. Homer Bailey going against the White Sox is a low-owned pitcher I'm interested in today. He gets 4.7 implied runs against him, which is not good. And Bailey is still a bad pitcher, but he's been getting 8.5 Ks per 9. Now he's going against the White Sox team who has a 24% K rate versus right-hand pitching in a park that's limited home run production pretty well. White Sox stacks also look viable, but Bailey's low price on SP2 sites make it easier to afford some of the elite bats like Milwaukee's, so he seems like worth holding your nose for some exposure. Again, Bailey, not a great pitcher, but he has some strikeout stuff. He's so cheaply priced. He's cheaper than Christian Yelich and a lot of hitters out there. So like if you get some production from Bailey today at low ownership, it could be a nice spot to have him and afford those high-priced bats who could put up big production today. Now on to our last corner, the one-offs, and I've got a very brave take up front, going with Christian Yelich going against Rookie Davis as the one-off I like the most. Yelich is priced higher than some pitchers, but his 178 WRC plus, 319 ISO, and 6.8% home run rate versus right-hand pitching. He's going up against a young pitcher who gives up home runs, and Yelich is also in his home park that boosts lefty power. There are just too many factors favoring Yelich to ignore him. The high price is tough to pay, but if you can get there, he does have the upside to have a big day here, either as a one-off or part of that Milwaukee stack. After that, I'll go a little bit off the board with my next one-off pick, Brandon Dixon going against Michael Pineda. Going to a Detroit stack isn't insane given Pineda struggles with a 4.8 xFIP and a 5.7% home run rate, but Dixon has a decent price with the team's best ISO versus right-hand pitching at 205. Dixon strikes out at about a 36% clip, so he's not without his risks, but I think the power is worth it. Pineda giving up a ton of power on the year, and Dixon is the guy who on paper has it the most. And Vlad Guerrero Jr. versus Merrill Kelly is also a one-off I like a lot. With Vlad Jr. expected to have some ownership on him, but he's avoided strikeouts well with a 19.6% rate on the year, as well as a solid 208 ISO and 45% hard contact versus Kelly, who's got a mediocre 8.9% swing strike rate. Vlad's very good at making contact and having that contact pay off, so I like the spot for Vlad here. The Toronto stack is interesting because of their prices, but I think if they're going to be highly owned today, going to a guy like Vlad as a one-off could be a way to get that production without paying the tax of high ownership on a bunch of other guys. So there are my thoughts on today's slate, so please like the video, and for a chance to win a month free of Awesemo.com, comment your double dong pick down below. Yesterday, the big winner was this guy right here, Ricardo. Ricardo called Max Kepler, who not only had a double dong, he had a triple dong, the rarest of all the dongs to get in your life, and he did a good job making that pick, so now it's your chance to step up to the limelight, get a special shout out, and a free month of Awesemo Plus. All you have to do is like the video and comment your double dong pick, and if you are correct, I'll be giving that winner out on Monday. But if you don't want to wait for your double dong winnings, use that promo code Switch and Hedge for half off your first month of any Awesemo Plus membership. Get all the ownership projections, the rankings, the projections you can just plug right into Fantasy Cruncher, the top stacks tool, the deep dive column every day, the lineup builder. There are many things I could keep listing to try to sell you on this, but point being, there's a million ways to make better lineups using our packages at Awesemo.com. So use that promo code Switch and Hedge for half off that first month of any Awesemo Plus membership. And that's it for me for the week, so please go follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Chris Spags. I'm doing all sorts of stuff on there all the time, and the followers add value to my life in so many different ways. I just want you guys in my world on every social media platform, so come find me. And I'll be back on Monday with another Four Corners video, so please enjoy your weekend, and of course, good luck.